Hi everybody, happy 2020 Beauty Expo. Very different this year, but still wonderful, and I'm sure that it will be a great success. My name is Daniela Boerma, and I would like to share with you a little bit of my knowledge and my journey in the beauty industry with you all, and hopefully give you a little bit of insight as to how I have become successful in business from failure, and also how I have thrived through COVID-19. So firstly, I'd just like to welcome everyone and just say a big shout out to all the Victorian salon owners that are struggling at the moment in their lockdown. I know it must be very, very, very hard. I mean, it was hard for me in our New South Wales lockdown, but you girls are doing a fantastic job lobbying, trying to get reopened a bit sooner, and I believe that there is great success coming. So I wish you all the very best and keep doing what you're doing. You just have to dig deep and know that you can do anything if you put your mind to it. And that means getting through the next few months ahead and thriving as we all have in New South Wales so far. So let me start just by saying, you know, the journey that I've had hasn't been all success. I've owned 4 businesses over 38 years. I'm currently in Caringbah, New South Wales at Bliss Day Spa. This is my, I think my last stop in the beauty industry as a salon owner. It's a fabulous business and I can't ever imagine my life without it at the moment, but you never say never. Things can come and go in your life at the right time when things are meant to happen. So I always keep an open mind and an open heart to all of these wonderful things that pop up in my world. And one of the things that I really love doing is helping others. So that's probably how I ended up here talking with you today. So my journey started 38 years ago, as I said, when I was only 16 years old. And at that time, I knew nothing about business. So what I have learnt since then is knowing numbers in your business. So I was one of these salon owners when I was very young that just let my accountant take care of everything and really had no idea about the concept of budgeting and numbers. So still today, there's a lot of women out there that own salons that I hear constantly, oh, I let my accountant take care of all of that. I don't worry about that. You know, he'll let me know if things aren't good, or she will let me know if things aren't good. But you really need to know your figures in comparison to your turnover, what's left over, if there is anything left over at the end of every week. I mean, so many people just live week to week. So my first tip for you all is make sure you budget well with your business. Budget your GST, budget your PAYG, and make sure that there's enough money to cover all your expenses, because, you know, it might look like we're making a lot of money, but when you do your figures, sometimes it's a scary surprise that we're actually not doing as well as what we actually had thought. So know your numbers. I have always set up a sub account with my business. So I have X amount of dollars every week that automatically goes into that account. And that way I never am cut short by the cycle when the BAS is due. So make sure you learn that. Also, changing my software was one of the best things I ever did. I was with MYOB for a very long time. I found it quite confusing. And to be honest, my accountant, I even I think found it very hard to work with as well. My life has changed dramatically since signing up with Xero. Xero is such an easy program to use as a business owner. It has saved me hours and hours of work per month. And I can highly recommend it. I personally think it's one of the best things I ever did, moving to Xero. So that's another little tip, but nevertheless, a lot of people like using MYOB, and it's probably just that I wasn't shown correctly in the very early stages of using that software. So just know your numbers and know how to use your software so that you can check in and see where you're traveling throughout the quarter that you're in. Okay, so, and obviously find a good accountant. I mean, a good accountant is everything in business. They give you good advice, and that's what we're paying them for, is to show us the way. I also have a bookkeeper. The bookkeeper is on hand for me. She answers my text messages and touches in with me just every now and then. Everything okay? Do you need anything? Can I help you? So if you know anyone that's a bookkeeper, it's always good to engage with a bookkeeper as well. Now I don't hesitate to put my hand up and say, I need some advice, or could you help me with this, or show me how to lodge that, or, all those bits and pieces. So, that's my other tip for business as well. So when I started out, I was so young and really just sort of bluffed my way through that first 4 years, I think. And then sadly, I moved premises after about 7 years, thinking I was going to go to bigger and better things. And it proved to be the wrong decision for me. One of the big mistakes I made was the location I chose. And also moving into a large hotel. It was the Novotel in Brighton Sands in Sydney. I was sort of being misled quite a bit with centre management at the hotel, and sadly the building had to be closed down and renovated only shortly after it had opened because of the building being not correctly put together. So that was awful for me because I still had to operate even though the hotel was closed. My clients couldn't get into the car park. It was just horrible. So unfortunately, I failed in that business. And again, I really didn't understand or take a great deal of consideration into my figures and my numbers. I was letting someone else oversee them. And it really was the biggest mistake I made in business. It really scared me, and I really thought, that's it for me. I'm never going to own another salon again. But obviously, when I closed that business down, I realised I had to get an income. I was trying to raise a little boy that I'd had, and my husband and I were sort of, building a home, and everything sort of crashed around us. So I just had to reinvent myself and decided to open a home-based salon, which a lot of you I know that are watching are doing exactly the same thing as we speak. So I raised 3 children over 20 years of being a home-based business. It was the most successful business, and it got bigger and bigger. So I knew that I had to re-educate myself because the beauty industry was moving very, very quickly. And by this stage, I'd already been in the industry about 15 years, I think. So I decided to enrol in a college in Sydney and study light studies, laser and light, and absolutely loved it, thrived, and that took me on a new journey altogether. My business grew from being a traditional beauty therapist working as a sole trader from home, fully registered with our council, FPOS facility, of course. And I decided that it was just getting too big at home, and my children were growing and they didn't need me as much. So I started looking for premises. It took me a long time, but several years later, I found the perfect salon to buy, and that was Bliss Day Spa in Caringbah. So I moved my sole trading business into that business, and they were owner operators there. So when I took the business over, there were no staff. So I had to find staff. Fortunately for me, I stayed in contact with my original staff member, Julie, and Julie came and helped me at Bliss Day Spa to get the business off the ground. She came and was re-employed by myself. And I was fortunate enough to have 2 gorgeous nieces that were also just starting out in the beauty industry. So they came on board, and a very close friend of mine who did reception for me. So the first 3 years, I was very fortunate to have a lot of love around me while I was working and building this beautiful business that we call Bliss Day Spa today. How has it become successful? Learning my mistakes, learning from my failure. I became a gun with figures and fully understood my business, fully understood GST and how it all worked, fully understood how to care for a salon and for my staff. I engaged with a fabulous business coach who I absolutely adore and love. And I would encourage anybody in business these days to have a business coach, a mentor that you can go to when you're finding it difficult or when you just need advice. So your business coach is paramount to success, as well as your accountant and knowing your numbers. How did I grow the business? Well, I have a love of technology. There's no everyone that knows me well knows that I love technology. I have been affiliated with quite a few different companies with equipment, so I've gotten to know equipment quite well and know my passion is in light energy and radio frequency. They're my two big loves of technology, merely because I get great results for my clients. And as equipment grows and evolves, so do I, and my education. So education is absolutely everything in growing a business, because as you bring in new technology to add to your menu of services, you are going to learn more because you've got to be educated in that piece of equipment. So every year since opening Bliss Day Spa, I have purchased a piece of equipment, and some of them are leased and some of them I've bought outright, but they've all proven to be extremely successful. A salon doesn't need to have lots and lots of devices to be successful. If you're good at one piece of equipment and you do it exceptionally well, happy days. You're going to make a lot of money and make a lot of people happy with their results. If you're like me, that I like to grow and expand my business, I've got more staff now and of course a lot of equipment. So I've worked out the equipment that I love the best and I've just expanded on those areas. So I have several RF radio frequency machines and lots of other devices like Dermapen 4. I've also got the plasma device. Oh gosh, the list goes on and on. Omnilux Medical is another favourite of mine. We have 2 of those devices. They're everything to our clients. They're our go-to machines for nearly every single treatment that we provide for skin. So I made a big decision several years ago to just allow my staff to do the traditional beauty therapy work as well as machinery, but I now only specialise in skin. So another point for you all to pick up is, if you're really good at something and you love doing something, maybe choose that avenue to go to. Just because the beauty industry, says we're good at doing massages and manis and pedis, it doesn't mean we have to. We can hone in on the areas that we absolutely love doing and make it a really special place for your clients to be, because they know that you're a specialist in that field. So you can still be successful and not do the whole repertoire of treatments. Choose the treatments that you want to be doing for your clients and do them exceptionally well. Education, education, education. My staff love education because I love education. Whenever I feel lack of motivation, I enroll in another course. Currently, I'm studying cosmetic tattooing, which is something I never thought I would do. I was always saying in my head, I think I'm too old to start something new like that. It's too big a deal. Don't ever listen to that inner voice in your head that tells you you can't do something. Of course you can do something like that. You can do anything. You can do anything if you put your mind to it and you believe in yourself. So after struggling with that inner voice for 2 or 3 years, in fact, wanting to do that course, I have finally decided I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it really well. So I'm taking my time with my education in cosmetic tattooing, and I'm hoping to come out the other end of my course when I graduate and bring that treatment into Bliss Day Spa. And you know what? If I feel that I'm not confident doing that treatment, that's okay. I don't have to bring it into Bliss. But I've gained so much knowledge to help others understand about cosmetic tattooing. And I can share that knowledge with clients that are looking to take on having that treatment done. So it's a win-win. You never lose. You never fail at anything, because failure to me is not really, I don't know, it doesn't matter. It's not really a word I use anymore in the true sense of the word, because failure helps you succeed. It helps you learn, it helps you grow, and it helps you not to make those mistakes that you made in the past. So failing to me now is not trying to achieve something that you've been wanting to do. So I encourage everyone to fulfill any goals that they have, you know, in the back of their mind that they want to do. You never know. What if you're really good at something and you just held yourself back because of self-doubt? Self-doubt is an awful thing. Inner belief is so important. And I've been so lucky because I've met so many beautiful people in the industry over the last 6 years, I think, that have actually really made me realise my fullest potential. And, you know, believing in that, if others believe in you, then you have to start believing in yourself as well. So what else can we talk about? My goodness, my career has just been so long, and, you know, I actually have done everything that all of you are watching. I've been that sole trader at home with a home-based business. I've been that lonely owner of a business that wasn't succeeding and I was struggling. I've been the owner of a successful business twice over. So, you know, now I'd like to just sort of talk a little bit about, you know, getting to where I was, being successful, finally making it, and then what happens? We're hit with COVID-19, that awful word that's on everyone's tongue, COVID. Can't you just wait for next year? I just can't. I just want this year to be over. But I made the most of what we were thrown at when we were closed down. I started feeling sorry for myself. It lasted about 24 hours, and then I put pen to paper while I was in quarantine myself. I'd just come back from Bali after being on a conference that I was speaking at. And this conference, you know, made me realise there are so many talented entrepreneurial women out there that are running fantastic businesses. And then we were told that we were going to be put into self-isolation when we arrived home back in Sydney, and COVID had hit badly in Sydney and Australia-wide. So, yeah, that was a bit of a challenge. And then about 5 days later, Scott Morrison announced that we were all closing our businesses, and for 3 months we were closed. And that was a shocking time for me. I actually really had to dig deep, and I really had to pull myself out of that hole that I think we all fell in that first 24 hours. It was like disbelief that it was actually even happening. And then, of course, fortunately, we were told about JobKeeper. So there was a little bit of light to help us with our staff and our wages and whatnot. So that got me thinking, and then I got my pen to paper, and I decided to think about what were my clients needing, what did they really, really need out of me in lockdown. And I couldn't stop thinking about all my Omnilux clients that had packages that they had been abruptly stopped, and all of my Dermapen clients that had been abruptly stopped, and all of those beautiful girls out there that loved their long lash extensions that could no longer have their infills. And I started thinking and creating and getting all of my, you know, creative juices flowing, and I started jotting things down on paper. Got my laptop set up, and I started Googling, and I started inquiring, and I actually did an amazing job creating things to happen for me to make my rent. I knew how much rent I had to pay. I knew what my numbers were for all of my outgoings, and I knew what I had to do, and that was to make money. How was I going to do it? I created my own magnetic eyelash liner and eyelashes. I created and imported LED face masks for all of my clients to use at home. We started putting packages together with dermal roller home treatments for all of our Dermapen clients, facials in a box. And a lot of you are listening to this thinking, yeah, we did that. Well, good on you. And I'm so proud of you for doing it, because it made my rent, it covered my expenses, and I am so proud to say that I came out of the other end when we reopened in a pretty good way. So what happened then? Bank account was looking low because of JobKeeper, hadn't been, you know, paid yet, and I was still paying all of my staff every week. And I had to believe in the process that Scott Morrison, our wonderful leader, was going to fulfill his obligations to us, that he had announced that JobKeeper was coming. I had to trust that what he was saying was true. And boy, I can't tell you how lucky I felt when that money came into my account. I'm sure you all felt the same. But instead of putting that back and filling my reserves, I decided to invest JobKeeper and double that money in retail. So I quickly, after several months of investigating, skincare, ranges that I'd been looking at, we had already brought into the salon another range, O Cosmetics. We were stockists already of Biodroga Australia, which is one of my top brands that I've sold for 38 years. But there were other ranges that I was interested in, but just never really wanted to expand on retail because of the outlay of the initial opening orders. Well, now I had the money to do those opening orders, and I thought, well, if I do it now, I'm going to double that money because our retail doubles, doesn't it? Think about retail. Retail is king, and we can make more money if we have retail. So I quickly investigated Meso Aesthetics and brought in Cosmolan products and their beautiful peel for pigmentation. That was a product that I had been previously wanting for so long. Ginger and Me, which is another company with in-skin cosmetics. We brought that range in as well. We'd already introduced Pure Fiji previously in the previous year. We increased our stock orders. Eyelash serums just walked off the shelf. We doubled all of our stock orders. Vitasol products, we increased all of our stock orders, along with Wrinkle Schminkle and many other brands that just sell while they're sitting on the shelf or online with, our customers inquiring. We don't have an online shop. We deal with our customers. We're a little bit more personal in our salon. We call our customers we called them right through COVID. And one of the jobs that I gave my staff was to actually take all of their top clients and engage with them every week with phone calls. And that's what we did. We made it very personal, and our clients really appreciated that, especially our elderly clients that hardly saw people. A lot of clients, were disengaged with friends and family because they weren't allowed out. We were doing home deliveries, drive-through service. We had our door closed, but our business was open, and we thrived through COVID-19 because we worked hard. We didn't stay at home and go, oh, this is a break from the business. I'll just, take a rest and then go back. We actually worked really, really hard. My staff worked from home on their laptops with applications for beauty awards, and they, engaged with their clients and helped them out with virtual skin consultations. They supported me, my staff, with all the ideas that I came up with. They were right behind me, patting me on the back, saying, go, 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 we can do this. And we did. We did it so well, and I'm so proud of my staff. They allow me to look good, and they allow me to thrive. And without them, I wouldn't have the business that I have today. So treating your staff the best you can and appreciating them, because if they appreciate them, they appreciate you. And they'll always have your back and support you wherever they can. And I think it's the key to a really successful business. Just retail. Just, I didn't realise how powerful retail was until my business coach was sort of saying to me, Danny, you need to increase your retail. Your business is so good already, but your retail, you could do a lot better. But I never had, I was always scared of spending that extra money on the opening orders of other retail products. But no regrets now. It's been probably one of the best things I've ever done, and one of the best things that I think you could ever do for your business as well. So I hope that my insights have been interesting for you. I would love you to call me anytime or email me. My email is daniela.boerma@hotmail.com, Daniela with one L. Any questions, if I can ever help anyone out there, I'm more than happy to give you any advice or any knowledge that I have. come up with ideas for your salon. You know, big ideas start with little ideas that can grow into magnificent successes. And I encourage you all to believe in yourself, and I'm more than happy to help you if ever I can. So enough from me now. Enjoy Expo 2020. Good luck to all the finalists in the ABIA Awards at the end of October. And I'm really happy to be part of Expo 2020, and I do hope to see you again next year when hopefully, fingers crossed, everything will go back to normal and will be, or a new normal, and we will be able to have our Expo once again. Bye for now.